Hi guys, welcome back to another weekly reading vlog. How is your bank holiday weekend? In this month's TBR video, I said we're gonna play a game. You guys gonna choose my very first book to read in May. According to the poll, the book that I have to read is The Book That Broke the World by Mark Lawrence, the second book of the Library trilogy. I have been really hardworking because I have only got less than 40 pages left, so I guess I can talk about it a little bit more. So this book takes place right after the first book, after all those unexpected twists, unexpected events, who killing who, the sudden reveal, all that shits. Now we are back to it. We're gonna follow 4 POVs in this book, which is more than the first one. Same as last book, we've got Livira and Eva, and the 2 new POVs is actually from a Ghana's perspective, a girl called Selcha, and the other POV is from a familiar character called Apex, friends of Livira in the library. Among these 4 POVs, only 2 of them are so closely related. I don't want to give out too much just in case you haven't picked up the first book yet. But Eva, of course, want to find Livira, and Livira needs to find a way back. Selcha, this new POV, is a gunner. She was a slave with her brother, Helad. For some reasons, they both moved to the library to work, but there are some, should we say, voices inside Helad's head that leads up to a series of unexpected events. I might be wrong here, but I think these events are closely related to something that happened in the first book. Apex, this familiar character, this new POV, is really interesting and funny. He became the leader of a group of survivors that has to also get out of this situation. But there is a really unexpected, interesting love interest here. I really like the chemistry between these 2 characters. And don't forget there is a constant conflict between the 2 creators of the library. Overall, I would definitely say this book is much faster than the first one. It is action after action when it takes off. I remember the first book is on a slower, whimsical side. I would say that this book still got these factors, but not as strong as the first book. I'm not sure, can you tell already, this book is shorter than the first one. And I think it is not common to have the second book shorter than the first one. So when I first received this book, I was a little bit shocked by the length. By the way, I've been to Gosborough to pick up my April's GSFF book, and it is Dragon Rider by Taran Matharu? I'm not sure how to pronounce the author's name again. I think it is pretty cool to have a slipcase like this, and when you take the book out, the cover is with this dragon scale-ish pattern on it, which is interesting, but the spray edge? No, sorry, not this time. But this book is much thicker than I thought, and I think it is, well, when I flip through it, there is chapter 100. What? And this book got over 550 pages. I mean, it is really long for a subscription book. I didn't expect it at all. So with the TBR's poll, this book actually got the second highest vote. So I guess when I finish The Book That Broke the World by Mark Lawrence, I will pick this one up. So today I have to edit my wrap-up video, so I don't think I will have much time to read, but I will try because there's only less than 40 pages left. After finishing it, I will definitely pick up Dragon Rider. So I guess I will see you in the next update when I finish the first book and read a little bit more of it so I can give you a little bit more details of it. I will see you in the next update. See ya! This book makes me confused and a little bit lost because of the plot. With the first book, we're gonna know that this series is gonna be full of time traveling elements. But in this book, you do need to work out a little bit and figure out the cause and effect relationship. It is actually quite hard to think about which one is the cause indeed and make certain characters act like certain ways in the future. Like Livira's book, it is like an endless loop within the time stream. There are some hints in the beginning already explaining why certain characters are so mad in the end. When you think about it later, piecing all these clues together, you would think, why am I so stupid? Why couldn't I see it before? I think that being the readers, we are like in the exchange. We are the ghosts observing all these characters in this time. We are reading this story that is full of time traveling, messing around. We, at last, are like out of the time and being lost. Isn't it what this book is talking about as well? So I think although the time traveling elements could be quite hard to chill, overall I would say I enjoy reading this one. Later in the book there are some discussion about the creators of the library. Unfortunately, in this constant conflict, you have to pick a side. Irad or Irad, in short, promote the accumulation of wisdom through the library. On the other hand, we have Jaspeth, who want to destroy this library, and everyone, no matter what species you are, you should start from the beginning, from nothing. And we also have Yu's third way when he is discussing with these two creators. I wish this part could be slightly longer or spread out across the story because it is so interesting. I found this part like a philosophical discussion about learning. If we keep the library, which means that in the far future, that means now, that will be the king's invention that's gonna put our characters in a very difficult situation. And at last, all the characters have to make a choice as well. I guess in the next book, they're gonna explain why certain characters would choose this side, but I just hope that there will be a slight glimpse of it because it feels a little bit, just a little bit rushed by the end when they are picking up their side. I hope that the last book of this trilogy gonna come out really soon, otherwise I'll forget all these details of this complicated, complex world. So after finishing this book, in the morning I've picked up my next book, Dragon Rider. I am only 3 chapters in, so I can't really say too much about what it is about, but in this book we're gonna follow our main character, Jay. His father's rebellion was a fail, so he was captured by the emperor. Because of this, all the clans now had to pay tribute to the empire. In return, they would send their kids, their sons, to the emperor for further training, for further education. Essentially, they are just hostage in the empire. Coming to now, Jay has grown up a little bit. In his 14-ish, he was like a personal maid to the emperor, which means that he had to wash his feet, which is disgusting, and the emperor is old. The empire has also arranged a marriage with a princess in the north from a kingdom called Dansk. The Dansk also brings something really unusual to the empire, which is the dragons. The empire hasn't conquered this Dansk yet only because there are not too many resources up in the north. Before, there were constant raids from the north as well. The emperor was not consulted about this marriage, so he asked Jay to keep an eye on them because he sensed that there are something bad gonna happen. I am only 3 chapters in, so I hope that I can read a little bit more. This book is really thick, so I don't think I can finish it by the end of the vlog, but I will try my best. Hopefully I can get up to halfway point, fingers crossed. So let's get to reading. Hello guys, it is the next day and I have been really hardworking because I have read over 180 pages in the last 24 hours, which is a lot to me and it is a shock as well. Even though this book got over 100 chapters, which is a lot in a fantasy book, each chapter is actually quite short, usually less than 7 pages, so you can keep up your momentum very easily. And look at the size of the word and also the spacing. They are actually much bigger than the book that broke the world by Mark Lawrence. Sometimes you even got pages like this with only a couple of sentences in a page, so it is not that difficult to get through that much, to be honest. With this 180 pages, things has changed drastically. Jay has gone through a lot in this short period of time. Firstly, he was invited to this hunt with the royal family, and in here we can see he had a really close bonding with his siblings, the 2 elder brothers. And also how brutal and discriminating the young prince Titus can be, that leading up to the following events later. Luckily, he survived this threat and by accident, he heard the plan the young prince had in mind. Even though with his best effort to warn others about this danger and also finding out something more about this plan, this cannot stop the coup by the young prince. It is really messy, it is really bloody and very emotional. So you're gonna be prepared if you're gonna read this book. Once again, he is very lucky he survived this. What makes him luckier is he found a very rare gift, a dragon egg. I guess I'm still very early into the book because this part is actually covered by the synopsis, so I think this is not a massive spoiler if you want to read this book. I found this book very fast-paced and also really entertaining. There is history about how the empire has conquered the neighboring states. It kind of built up the interesting relationship Jay had with the old ex-emperor and explained why Titus wanted to execute his plan. There are also quite a lot of different kind of mythical creatures from different places. This is related to the fantasy elements in this book, which is called soulbound. You can bond with different animals and then you two can be connected. You can hear, you can feel, you can listen through that animal as well. I wish this book got a glossary about all these kind of mythical creatures because there are quite a lot of it and some of them are actually quite funny. We got the dragon from the Northern Kingdom, Dansk, and also this empire got a really funny one which got lion's body but with eagle's head and wings, if this makes any sense to you. This book is really easy to read and of course I would read a little bit more today. I am quite confident I can reach the halfway point of the book, which is the goal of this vlog. So we will find it out later in the final update. See ya! So here comes to the last day of this reading vlog. First of all, I have a really exciting news because I have received a very special book mail, but I have already opened it because I need to film a shot. And it is from, as you can see, the broken binding. Here is the wrapping paper for the book, so you can already tell which book it is. It is actually The Martian by Andy Weir, the very first book of the new Sci-Fi subscription. I'm very lucky to get this subscription because I think it ran out really quickly within 24 hours-ish, so I count myself very lucky. Compared to the original cover, I think this one is much better without Matt Damon's face on it. And also the spray edge is really good with this orangey tone on it. This Sci-Fi subscription is like the tier 2 fantasy subscription because you only got the signature of the author but not numbered. But still, I think it is really special because I can push myself now to read sci-fi, which is a genre that I don't read at all. You know what is also great? It is a bi-monthly book subscription, which means that in a year I only got 6 sci-fi books, which is not too overwhelming for me. My plan is to read it by the end of this month because I was not too sure when would it arrive, but now here it is. So if you want to check out how I'm gonna react to my very first sci-fi book, I will probably do a reading vlog by the end of this month, so stay tuned to it. The second update is about Dragon Rider. I am so happy to say that I have reached my goal to finish half of it. In the last 24 hours, I have been really hardworking. I guess I read around 150 pages because it is so easy to read, the writing is really accessible and it is really entertaining. It is also full of action and I am really liking this book. I was a little bit worried when I saw reviews about this book saying that this book reminds them of classic fantasy series. I assume it's gonna be like the Lord of the Rings, the Wheel of Time, and also the Bound and the Broken series. The flow of the first book is always like somebody coming to this tiny village in the middle of nowhere, telling the villagers about what is going on outside this tiny village, what is the outside world be like, and there would be a celebration, I don't know why. Then a danger would come and our main characters has to leave the village and start a new journey with somebody that is knowledgeable. On their way to somewhere safe, they're gonna realize they got some special power and they need some training, and somebody will tell them what's the magic system gonna be like in this world. After learning some basic skills about their special powers, maybe combat skills as well, they're gonna fight in a battle by the end of the first book. I would say that Dragon Rider, yes, it does follow this pattern, but what makes it different is the opening of it. In the very beginning of the story, we are already thrown into this selfish plan by the youngest prince Titus, aka the evil one. And then we are following Jay to finding out what is actually going on, finding out some clues, and also introduced to other side characters. Then the danger is this tragedy happened in the palace, which was bloody. And then I would say it is like the first section of the book, even though it didn't label it like this. Then our main characters has to leave and start the escape, and Jay at the same time find out that he is special, bonding with a dragon. Jay has to learn about this magic system, so bound, so breathing, and also mana. Our main characters are lack of experience, so when it comes to the exploration, it always comes with troubles. Luckily or unluckily, they met somebody for help who was related to the Empire before. From here, I would say it is like the start of the third session, the journey with this character. I'll keep on reading Dragon Rider over the weekend. Usually I won't vlog, so I will leave my final thoughts in the next week's reading vlog. Don't miss it if you want to find out how I'm gonna feel about this new release, so stay tuned to it. If you have enjoyed this week's reading vlog, don't forget to give it a like. If you don't want to miss any content from me, make sure you have subscribed to my channel. I will see you real soon. Goodbye.